Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine. So dear students, as you all are aware that in the last video lesson we discussed short summary of chapter 3 Deep Water by William Douglas. In this video we will discuss more about this lesson Deep Water. As dear students, we have seen in this story, William Douglas shares his experience of drowning. When he was of 3 or 4 years old, he went to the beach of California with his father. He was knocked down by the wave of the sea and the water swept over him. Since then, he developed a great fear from water. He had aversion to water. When he grew up, when he became 10 or 11 years old, he started missing water sports, fishing, canoeing, boating, etc. So that is why he wanted to learn swimming. Once again he decided, as he had a fear of water, even though he decided to learn swimming. He joined YMCA pool for learning how to swim as it was safe. One day, William Douglas reached the pool earlier. There was nobody there. Then suddenly a big boy of 18 years came and threw Douglas into the deeper end. As Douglas did not know how to swim, he started struggling. He was struggling to come out of the water. He was struggling to reach the edge of the pool and come out of the pool. So when he started drowning, he planned when he would touch the ground, he would kick and he would come upwards like a cork. He came up and went down 3 times. He kept on planning, but he could not execute his plan. Finally, he started drowning. He started losing his consciousness, and after many efforts, he could not come out and he became unconscious. Finally, when he came into conscious, he found himself laying on his stomach, and he found many people around him. Okay, and the people who were there saying that the boy was nearly dead. He was saved from nearly dead. And the boy who threw Douglas into the deeper end, the boy was also standing there. He said he was just joking. So first incident took place when Douglas 3 or 4 years old, which developed a great fear from water in Douglas. Later, when he was 10 or 11, this incident developed once again a great fear from water. Douglas had a great aversion to water. But he did not give up. Finally, Douglas decided to hire an instructor, and he hired an instructor. With the help of instructor, he started taking training. Instructor tried different strategies and he taught Douglas how to swim. But the fear grabbed Douglas. He could not come out of the fear. Douglas completed the training in 5 to 6 months, October to March, as the training was started in October and it was ended in the month of March. So October, November, December, January, February, March. It took 6 months to train Douglas. After Douglas was trained, he gained confidence, but he was not very much confident. In order to be sure that he was confident, he went to lake, that is Warm Lake, yes, the name of the lake, in order to learn swimming. He swam across the lake. In between, the fear came back for a while, but he managed to overcome the fear. And finally he was confident that he could swim well. So this way, dear students, because of his firm determination, Douglas was able to swim. Even though in childhood he had a great fear of water, he did not give up. So this lesson gives us a message. If we determine for anything, we can achieve. We need to overcome over the fear. Because, if we can overcome the fear, then we can win. So in order to be successful in life also, we need to overcome fear. So this is the mantra which we have learned from this lesson. As we have seen, the writer William Douglas himself was a judge who worked in United States Supreme Court for the longest time, which was 35 years, and it was still the longest duration acting as a judge in the history of United States. In my last video lesson, we discussed about the author and a short summary of the lesson. Once again, in this video lesson, with the help of a PPT, I am going to discuss about the author and the summary of the lesson, which was discussed in my last video lesson. So let me share a PPT and discuss the same. So first of all, let us discuss about William O. Douglas, the author. He was United States jurist. He was born on October 16, 1898 in Minnesota and passed away on 19 January 1980 in Washington, D.C. Oliver, William Orville Douglas was a public official, legal educator, and Associate Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, best known for his consistent and outspoken defense of civil liberties. His 36 and a half years of service on the Supreme Court constituted the longest tenure in US history. William O. Douglas, in full, William Orville Douglas, born October 16, 1898, Maine, Minnesota, US, and died on 19th January 1980 in Washington, D.C. He was public official, legal educator, and Associate Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. He was best known for his consistent and outspoken defense of civil liberties. His 36 and a half years of service on the Supreme Court constituted the larger tenure in US history. The son of a Presbyterian minister, Douglas moved with his family first to California and then to Washington. His father died when William was a small child, and his mother then settled the family in Yakima, Washington. Although Douglas contracted polio as a youth, he escaped permanent paralysis and developed what would become a lifelong love of the outdoors through his self-imposed regimen of exercise during recovery. After graduating from Whitman College, Walla Walla, Washington, in 1920, Douglas briefly taught school, resolving to enter law school. He worked his way across the country in 1922 and enrolled at Columbia University Law School, where he later edited the Law Review. In 1925, Douglas was graduated second in his class from Columbia and shortly thereafter joined a Wall Street law firm to learn the intricacies of financial and corporate law. He left the firm 1 year later to teach law at Columbia. And a year after that, he joined the law faculty at Yale, where he taught until 1936. In 1934, after having worked with the Department of Commerce on bankruptcy studies, Douglas directed a study for the Securities and Exchange Commission on the recognition of bankrupt corporations. He became a member of SEC that is Securities and Exchange Commission, in 1936 and in 1937. He was appointed chairman of the commission. In his capacity, he engineered the recognition of the nation's stock exchanges, instituted measures for the protection of small investors, and began government regulation on the scale of securities. During his tenure with the SEC, Douglas became a friend and advisor of President Franklin Roosevelt. When Justice Louis Brandeis retired from the Supreme Court in February 1939, Roosevelt nominated Douglas to fill the vacancy. Following his confirmation by the state, Douglas took his seat on April 17, 1939, becoming at 40 years of the age the second youngest Supreme Court justice in US history. Although responsible for writing many of the opinions in complicated financial cases, Douglas became most famous for his pronouncements of civil liberties. Like his fellow justice and close friend Hugo Black, Douglas was an absolutist on the guarantees of freedom. Guarantees of freedom in the Bill of Rights. He rejected government limitations on free speech, and he was an outspoken defender of the unfettered press. His total opposition to any form of censorship made him a frequent target for criticism from political conservatives and religious fundamentalists. Douglas was also strove to ensure the protection of the constitutional rights of criminal suspect, and he took a leading part in the court's decisions that curbed coerced confessions, buttressed the accused's right against self-incrimination, and strengthened prohibitions against illegal searches. Felled by a stroke on December 31st, 1974, Douglas struggled to overcome its debilitating effects and returned briefly to bench before retiring on November 12, 1975. Throughout his judicial career, Douglas remained a prolific writer, especially on conservation history, politics, and foreign relations. His books include Of Men and Mountains, 1950, and A Wilderness Bill of Rights, 1965. Now, let us go through the short summary of the lesson after about the author. William O. Douglas had a desire to learn swimming since childhood. At the age of 3 or 4, he was knocked down and buried by a wave at the beach in California. He developed a great aversion to water ever since. At the age of 10 or 11, he decided to learn to swim with water wings at the YMCA pool since it was safe at the shallow end. The misadventure. While sitting alone and waiting for others to come at YMCA pool, a big boy came and threw Douglas into deep end of the pool. Douglas swallowed water and went straight down to the bottom of the pool. The event had a deep impact that added to his already existing fear. It took him weeks to recover. He avoided all situations associated with water, although deep within he had a craving to enjoy water like many others. Years later, his determination to overcome fear led him to hiring an instructor in the month of October. Once the instructor was done, Douglas felt he had not overcome the fear yet and wondered if the terror would grab him when he would be alone in the water. He tried to swim alone in the pool. The terror returned in small phases, but now, as he knew how to swim, he faced the terror with confidence. He swam another length of the pool. This is on the map. You can see Lake Wentworth, which is 2 miles long, and this is Warm Lake, and this is how William Douglas swam across it. You can see this is Douglas here. Let me show you. This is William Douglas camp. On this way he went across the lake. Okay, you can see in the satellite map, okay, how he swam. To overcome the possibility of any suicidal fear, he swam across the lake and back. He shouted with joy. He had conquered his fear of water. Okay, so as you have seen in this map, in this satellite map, this is Douglas Camp and this is Gilbert Peak, and this is how he was he swam across this warm lake. Okay, so it's all about the lesson, dear students. Now let us discuss some important points from this lesson once again.